While lawmakers consider ways to expand gambling in Illinois, a business expert says the state's finances and economy would get much higher odds without gambling. IllinoisFamily.org spoke with John Kindt, Emeritus Professor of Business and Legal Policy at the University of Illinois.
Professor, one of the proposals out there for more gambling in Illinois would call for a city-owned Chicago casino or jointly city-state-owned mega casino in Chicago. What could go wrong?
Well, I think we've been analyzing this particular situation for over 25 years. And a Chicago casino has been rejected by the Chicago Crime Commission, by the Better Government Association in a 500-page report, by a majority of the business community. It sounds good, it just doesn't work. In actuality, if you want more revenues, you need to get rid of gambling, because then all those dollars will be spent in the consumer economy, and you generate a consumer multiplier effect, you generate huge tax revenues. And so we find that those states with more gambling are in fiscal crisis, and those states which don't have gambling are in less fiscal distress or no fiscal distress. For example, Virginia has rejected casinos, and they had a $1 billion budget surplus last year or the year before. They're doing great, and one major reason is because they don't have the gambling.
And Professor Kindt maintains the prospect of more gambling raises the stakes for even more corruption in Illinois. And when you look at the early history of casinos here, the facts show the state was dealt a very bad hand, courtesy of political insiders.
Well, the initial 10 casino licenses in Illinois were worth at least $500 million each, for a total of $5 billion. In today's dollars, that would be $10 billion. Those licenses were given away to these political insiders for $25,000 apiece. So if in fact the state of Illinois had actually charged the fair market value of these licenses 25 years ago, Illinois would probably be fiscally solvent. And if they would quit continuing to give away billions of dollars in tax giveaways to their casino interests every year, and to the video gambling terminal interests, the state of Illinois would have billions more in revenues. And so public employees, teachers, the current pension situation is largely due to $35 billion to $100 billion in tax giveaways by the state of Illinois to gambling insiders since 1990, when the casinos came to Illinois.
So how can the state undo those insider gambling deals?
The first way to undo it is to simply collect what these casinos should have paid 25 years ago. That would be $10 billion or more in the bank tomorrow. And the state legislature can do that. The state legislature can pass a law that simply says, you should have paid these monies 25 years ago, pay up now. The second thing is, on these video gambling terminals, 25% goes to the state, 5% goes to the locale, 70% goes to the owner-operators. And in other states, the state is taking 80-90% of the revenues off of gambling in many instances. In Canada, they take 100%. And so if the state is desperate for money, immediately they could get a huge chunk of change by raising the tax rates on gambling. But in the long term, you need to grow the economy, you need to get rid of the social and economic costs associated with gambling, and go back to a consumer economy, because all the studies show for 20 years that the social and economic costs to the government and to the taxpayers is $3 to $6 for every $1 in projected new revenues. Now, the government's never going to tell you about the $3 to $6 in costs for increased crime around gambling facilities, bankruptcies up 18 to 42% as people lose their money, and the new addicted gamblers, which is similar to drug addiction.
Professor John Kindt, call your state lawmakers and ask them to vote no on more gambling in Illinois. The Capitol switchboard number is 217-782-2000. For IllinoisFamily.org, I'm Monty Larrick.